Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're gonna plant all of the boxwoods around the Hartley. I'm just so excited about this project. I feel like I've been waiting for this moment since last summer when the Hartley was completed. We just got the Pacific Sunset maples planted. There's one on every corner behind every one of the swoops here. And then that day when we planted the maples, I had time to set out like half of the boxwoods, but we need to go grab the other half and set them back here. But what we're gonna do is on the outer parts of the whole kind of design, we're going to be planting them on the outside. So you can see like on this side here, we're going to plant them on the outside, but then on the interior beds, we're going to plant them on the inside so that all of this area, which they may be coming today to fill these in with gravel, these will all be gravel walkways and they will all maintain a 6-foot wide walking path, so it'll feel nice and open, I think. So back here, the boxwoods will actually stop right here and there's going to be a pillar. And then we are going to be planting some evergreens right behind each one of these beds, and then there'll be a bench right here. So essentially the walkway will stop here and this will become flower bed. And then the boxwoods back here will be on the interior of the brick as well. Oh, I should mention, you probably see this pea gravel here. This is just leftover. It was part of the base layer for the brick edging, and they wanted to use it up. So we'll put the 3/4 inch chip gravel over the top of it. And that will match what we have in the driveway. So over here, boxwoods on the interior, and then they're gonna stop right here by this walkway because one, I didn't actually plan to have a brick lined walkway on the way out. That just kind of happened. And two, I don't know that I actually have enough boxwoods because I wasn't planning on that to finish the whole thing. So we're gonna stop it here and then we may do something else. Like, wouldn't it be beautiful to have lavender or just a different transition? I just am not sure yet. And you can see around this side. So that is the order of the day. The 2 beds on either end of the Hartley and the 4 back here aren't quite filled up all the way. So we're going to actually top them up with the organic raised bed mix, which I've had such good luck with. We didn't really want to fill these up with compost because we don't want to be planting in straight compost. They're more like a raised bed, like a really shallow one. And because we don't have that much to fill, we opted for this route, and we've had such extremely good luck with this raised bed mix, especially in the raspberry and blackberry beds, that we thought, well, let's go for it again. At first, when we very first started to use it, it felt pretty lofty, and I thought, well, I wonder if it's gonna, drain a little bit too quick. Aaron just got out here. You're gonna be ogging some holes.
Yes.
You excited about that?
I'm super excited.
I actually think it's gonna go pretty fast.
Yeah, I think it'll be great.
Anyway, I thought, is this stuff gonna drain too fast? Is it gonna hold on to enough moisture? And turns out, the plants have just flourished in it. So we thought, you know what, we've had such great luck there. We're gonna use it again in this area because this area, I most definitely want it to do well and have it succeed. Also, while we're planting boxwoods, we do have another big tree coming to be installed. Let me show you the one they brought yesterday. You got footage of that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we can pop that footage in right now. So there it is. in all of its beautiful blue glory, in between the Sensation box elder and a heritage birch clump, which was a clump of 3. One did not thrive, so now it's a clump of 2.
That looks like one from here.
It does look like one. Let me move this way. Ta-da! There's 2, 2 trunks. It's gonna be so good, you guys, when all of these things like mature a little bit and kind of intermingle. It's gonna be such a beautiful border. So this morning they're bringing one for right here, another blue for this hole. Remember, we had lilacs right here, which were super duper old, full of dead and full of borers. So we pulled those, and we're gonna be popping blue spruce, probably a Norway spruce, and then a green spruce right here. My word. So we will make sure to capture that, but I am going to gather up all of our supplies. We really don't need a lot for today. We're gonna make some little wood spacers so that every time I place a boxwood, I can put the little wood spacer between the bricks and the boxwood, and I know exactly how far to dig the hole away from the barrier so that every one of them is exactly right. And then I'll make one to go between the cans too. So every one we plant, we'll just put the little spacer in, and we'll be able to get it pretty precise planting. In the end, it's a hedge, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, there are those years. Sometimes it can take upwards of 4 or 5 years for your hedge to actually form a legitimate hedge, and so you can kind of see if they're off for those years. But it's just our auger, some biotone starter fertilizer, and probably a knife to cut the cans open. I think that is going to be our hardest thing today. These are green velvet boxwoods. They grow 2 by 2, zone 5, and they've been sitting out near the orchard all season long, and some of them rooted in underneath, and so they've got big root balls underneath their cans. So I think that's going to be the most time-consuming part, is trying to get them out of their can without disrupting their roots too much. So for example, see that right there? I'll probably, if it's like this, I'll probably just cut those roots off. But some of them are more intense than that. And then some of them don't have many at all. So I don't know. Hopefully it isn't too much of an issue. I think this will be fun to try though. I mean, these do have hard water damage right now because, you know, we've been watering them with the hose all season long. But they've got a deeper green leaf. It's a little bit more pointy than the Winter Gem and Sprinters, but I really wanted that depth of color, and also the mature size of this one is so favorable for this area. It's not one that's going to want to grow 4 to 6 feet tall and wide, so I'm going to have to constantly be trimming it. The fact that they only grow 2 by 2, that means like if I have a year where I miss my trimming window, I would rather not trim and have them be woolly instead of having a bunch of, you know, dried dead tips on them, because it, you know, I trimmed them when it was too hot or too cold or whatever the case may be. So I like that they stay smaller, so if I do miss my window, they won't look like enormously out of scale for this space. Okay, let's gather all of our supplies and get going. We're using like the 7-inch or the 5-inch?
I'm thinking probably the 5.
I think the 7 might give us a little more shoulder room. goodness, you guys, I'm not sure that I could love this any more than I do right now, and the boxwoods aren't even planted yet. Look at this space, you guys. Oh, seeing that little bit of green just brings a huge amount of life. You know, you've got the big maples there on the corners, we've got the structure with the evergreens, and honestly, like, I don't need a whole lot more in a space like this. We will be planting a lot more things, you know, inside the raised beds and around the exterior and all of that. And I even have some bulbs to plant in here after we're all done with this project. I'm hoping to do that next week so that we can have some beautiful spring color. But formal gardens, just the sense of order they bring to a space, I love, and I'm going to surround it with a lot of cottagey sort of things. I mean, we've got the chicken coop right next door where we're going to maintain some sort of a pathway. And I was thinking of leaving the pallet walkway there, redoing it though, so I've got fresh boards down, and making it a little bit closer to the coop. And it wouldn't even really be seen in the end. It'll still be kind of like this little magical walkway. I might though do the pallet walkway out in the south garden and do flagstones around the chicken coop. I'm just not sure. We've got a whole winter to think about it. It's not something I'm going to tackle right now, but whew, I just so happy with this area. I just can't get enough of it right now. Oh, so we had enough raised bed mix to fill up all 4 of these, and it's just a few inches, a little bit more in these beds because they are sitting a little bit lower. The land does slope, and we wanted the water, of course, to run away rather from the Hartley, so that's totally fine. But especially this one right here, there's enough grade from like where the trucks are over there and that area. You know, we have a step down first, and then it still slopes down this way. So there's about I think it's 3 inches between the front of this bed and the front of this bed over here. And they had to build up even from that. He was like, you know, if I build it up even more than that so that they're exactly level, it's gonna look so weird and perched. It's gonna almost look like you need to do another rock wall over here. So we decided to just go with that kind of slope down, which means because they had to do the bricks up a bit, you can tell there's more of a concrete border here than other places. We had to use a little bit more. But we do need to run and grab, which is what we're gonna do right now, a few more bags to fill in this one and the one on the other side. Oop, one fell down. Let me pick this up. That root ball, my goodness. Oh, I just love it so much. And we had 5 boxwoods to spare. I actually ordered 25 extra when we ordered them this spring because I thought, well, who knows? You know, who knows how this area is going to actually form up. You know, it might be a little bit different than I think, so I'm going to add a little bit of extra, and I will be able to find new homes for these extra boxwoods should we not need them. But we ended up using 20 of those extra, which makes me very happy that I over planned, which is not usually the case. Usually I have to fill in the next year. So Aaron and I are gonna head down to the garden center, pick up a few more bags of that raised bed mix, have a little lunch break, and then we'll come back to plant. All right, we are at the garden center.
I'll just take these right here.
There's what, 6 bags? I don't know that that's gonna do it. A few more than that.
That's probably good. You need more than that?
I don't think so. Okay guys, we didn't get it all done, about halfway done, But we made progress today and it's looking beautiful. Starting with these 4 beds, we got them all planted. Isn't it gorgeous? I cannot wait to see what it looks like from overhead. I bet it's so pretty. Just seeing that green and that life back here. And I actually like baby hedges like this. I love the years where they're just forming up. There's something about just the newness of it. I don't know. I just really like it. For the center right here, I don't have anything planned in particular at the moment. Like, I don't know if I want to do some kind of statuary, maybe a fountain. For now, I have some large containers, both from Henry Studio and Unique Stone, some of which don't have anything in them at the moment. So I think I'm just going to pop one of those in the center with some beautiful evergreen for the winter months and kind of live with that and see if I like it. Otherwise, we might swap it out for a fountain at some point, but I do think I want a fountain in the back fairly close. So that might be a little much. It kind of just depends on what happens. I also haven't decided what I want to put in the center of all 4 of these beds. There are a few different options that I'm kind of running through, but I'm going to take the winter months just to think about it and decide. But next week we will come in with bulbs. I've got some beautiful tulips to put in here so that in the spring we'll have a beautiful color show. Okay, so we got those done. And then we got just this one other bed done today. And one of the things we ran into was a pipe. We ran into a pipe right here in this hole. There was no water in it though, so we didn't know if it was an active pipe belonging to our new system or if it was one that belonged to one of the old systems that was in here. Because when we moved into this house, guys, there were I think 3 sprinkler systems, one right on top of the other. And so we would hit pipes all the time. And a lot of the time it would belong to an abandoned system. So we just never really knew how our pipes ran because we would run into one pipe and right beneath it, there would be another one going in the exact opposite direction. So anyway, it was also very close to the top of the soil surface. And we thought they surely did not run our new pipes that close to where we couldn't even plant a 1-gallon size pot. So we had to do a bunch of testing of all the new system and figure out what zones belong to what. The pipe we ran into did not belong to our new system. They are lower. So I was thankful for that. In the end, I was able to get it planted, but it did take a lot more time than we thought it was going to. And the other thing we ran into was some compacted soil in the back that made digging a little bit challenging. I don't even know if it was compacted soil as much as it was a bunch of roots from the oak trees. Do you remember the oak trees that were back here? They lined the driveway right here. So of course, when we got to this corner section, Aaron was having a heck of a time getting through them so that we could dig our holes. So we ended up going and grabbing a smaller auger to drill a pilot hole. That did help because there was some hard soil as well. And then we were able to, like, a few of the boxwoods aren't planted exactly precise because we just couldn't put them exactly where I needed to. But in the end, like I said, they're a hedge. It won't really matter. And I actually don't even notice. There's so many in there. I don't notice. But I can't say enough good things about the Power Planter augers. Honestly, you guys, especially if you're doing a project where you're planting a bunch of things or a bunch of bulbs, the augers are where it's at. And not the short augers. Nothing that you have to bend over for. Augers that you can stand up and drill your holes. Like I don't use any short augers anymore. They're all ones that, I think it's a 36-inch auger for bulbs, to where I can stand and pop all my holes in and then put my bulbs in right after. And I kind of assembly line it now for bulbs. So I do all my holes, I go through with bulb tone, put that in the holes, and then I just toss all of my bulbs in the holes. And then I go through and just turn them upright if they didn't land right, and then cover them with soil. It's super fast now. But those augers are just so awesome. And so I used the 7-inch auger today for the holes. We use the 9-inch auger all the time for larger size. And then I use I think it's like a 3.5-inch a lot for our annuals and our bulbs. Anyway, the rest of the boxwoods will just have to wait for another day. We almost got this one done. You can see we got the raised bed mix in there, but I didn't get my boxwood spaced or anything. And then we actually need to bring more soil in. So it was a good thing because we realized that the soil level is a little bit low here. So this space needs to have a little soil work. These are ready to roll. We just didn't have time. So now that we've got all of our spacing and all of that worked out, this part of the project will go super fast. So what I did was cut a stake to 8 inches long and made sure each container was 8 inches away from the edge of the brick. And the actual center of the plant is about 2 inches in, side of that container. So that means that the center of the plant is sitting about 10 inches away from the brick. So I did my stick, which measured 8 inches from here to about here, which is where the edge of the plastic container was. Yeah, because you can see the root ball right here. And then the actual center of the plant is another 2 inches in from there. So these grow 2 feet wide, which means they grow 1 foot this way and 1 foot this way. So if this one grows to its full size, which is 12 inches, it will just barely go over the edge of the bricks, which is perfect. We need to have it grow a little bit wider if we're gonna wanna hedge it really flat. You know, if I planted it over a full foot, it would maybe barely reach here. So if I wanted to have a really clean cut hedge, it might have to go in this far if I don't plant it close enough to the brick. Anyway, in the end, I think it's all gonna be beautiful and they're spaced how I think it's gonna work out really well. But you know, you never do know. I don't have a lot of experience with this variety. Boxwoods tend to do fairly decent in our area, so I imagine that they will grow to their full size, but we'll just kind of have to wait and see. And then after we're done planting all the rest of these boxwoods, we do have a few winter gems we're going to be planting right here. So we're gonna have matching pillars all over the place. There'll be a pillar here and here with boxwoods that connect to this one right here. And then this walkway will come out and connect to our patio that we're gonna have over here. Anyway, yeah, we've got all those winter gems. There's a pile there and a pile right here. That's what the garden center had left over, so we'll go as far as we can. And you guys, that is gonna be it for today's video. Super happy to see some progress in this area. And we'll probably film when we come back out here and finish it up so that you can kind of get an end result shot. But the gravel for the walkways is coming tomorrow, so it's kind of just as well. We'll get all the boxwoods in, we'll get the gravel on the walkways so that it will look a little bit more complete. Like the whole area will be more complete. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It is getting chilly out here and breezy, and I'm gonna go make dinner. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.